Hi. So last night I was in the spirit and I was given like this piece of I don't know, it was like parchment paper, like that yellowish looking paper. And it said the name Harriet on there, and 1850s is what it said. Okay, so I'm like, what is this, right? So I look it up and I end up reading for like an hour about Harriet Beecher Stowe. And she was a woman who in the 1850s or in the 1800s became like a huge activist and abolitionist, and a key figure in the movement before the Civil War. All right, so she lived in Ohio, and this was a place where I believe slavery was outlawed north of this line, and people who escaped slavery in those days, they traveled through the Underground Railroad, and they passed through Cincinnati, where she lived, and she became friends with a lot of them, and she got to know a lot of them like personally, and it moved her so deeply that she was inspired to write about it. You know, first she released like some art, some sketches and stuff, explaining what she had seen and what she knew about slavery, and she started writing. It was fiction, but it was based on true stories of the, people that she knew and stuff. And she I believe after she released like the sketches and stuff, she or there was a new law that was passed. I can't remember the date. It was like 1860 maybe, or 59 or something. There was a new law, like Congress had passed a new law in the South that it was something about if something about slaves returning to their owners, and people were getting killed and stuff because of this, like when slaves would escape. And in the South, it was a huge injustice in the South. Okay, all right, so then that encouraged her, knowing that it encouraged her to write this book and publish it. And the book was Uncle Tom's Cabin. And the book was about a man named Tom who got taken from his family, his wife and his daughter, and got sold into slavery. And he was a devout Christian man, and he held on to his faith like the entire time. And hold on. Hi. He held on to his faith the entire time, and he ended up getting killed because he wouldn't snitch on the people that escaped. Okay, he wouldn't say where they went and everything. He ended up getting killed. He went to his grave holding that information. And so the book created like a mass awareness for the injustices that were happening. And she ended up meeting up with Abraham Lincoln. At that time, he was the president at the time, and he kind of joked, from what I read, he joked about how her book was the reason why the Civil War started, you know, and stuff. But you know what? She probably did encourage it a little bit, because that movement, that urge of her, for her to write this and to create so much awareness about it, encouraged a lot more people to dig deep and realize the injustice and the animosity that it was, because her book painted a picture of like the private lives of slaves, and how, you know, back in those days, a lot of people, they didn't really understand that part. You know, they were taught all their lives, and that's all they knew, that slaves were not able to take care of themselves, and they were like animals, okay? And that's the way they were raised. That's the way they were like brainwashed to think, right? And so she saw it differently. You know, she saw it for what it was. You know, God opened her eyes and showed her the reality of it, so that she could make awareness happen. And it happened in a big way, you know? And so her book, the fact that it painted a picture of like the humanness of people, and it made people realize that, you know, the slaves, the slavery and all that was awful, and like and just awful, crazy injustice, because the story that she wrote was more of a private painting, like a picture of the reality of, you know, how their lives are just like the others and things like that. And the reason that I'm telling you this, and the reason I feel like I was shown that in the spirit, to dive into that, is because I had posted a video about doing what God wants you to do, and the things that God is urging you to create, and the things that Spirit is drawing you towards to create and to speak about. Do it, because you never know what kind of movement it's gonna create. Okay, and it's crazy because today being Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we celebrate, you know, his achievements in the movements of, you know, through the Civil War and things like that, right? Let's not forget Harriet Beecher Stowe, who followed her inner calling, who followed her inner nudge to do something that was gonna cause huge outrage in the South, that was gonna cause huge awareness to happen of the injustice that was going on, that was supposedly normal. Okay? And so I hope my message today is speaking to you, because Spirit has a big message through that, saying, you know, just trying to get the word out that whatever it is that you're being called to do or create, it doesn't matter what people are saying. It doesn't matter what you think people are going to think or whatever. You never know how much change you can cause with awareness and the creativity that you have inside of you to create something that will make our world a better place. I love you guys. Bye.